Sir.
What is up, people? What is up, people? This is Abraham Walker with the Walker family, the Walker boys. My name is Abraham Walker the First.
I'm Theodore Walker the First.
And I'm Abraham Walker the second.
Excellent. And we are on a family vacay in Chinatown, Chicago for 2 weeks. And so today is day two, our day two recap. We did day one recap that only it lasted a little bit longer than we anticipated. So tonight's video we're going to try to shorten up. Also, it's a little later as well, as you can see from Abraham yawning. Sit up, Abraham. There you go.
Man.
So let's start off with the first activity of today, which was
The black.
well, not really. The first activity was me going to Target to pick up Target to pick up some essentials for the room, which included the some bottled waters and some we like Charmin ultra soft toilet tissue. So just some essentials, as at least what we believe are essentials for our needs. And that was early in the morning because we're in a downtown location. I went to a Target that was maybe like 4 or 5 blocks away. It took no time to get there, and then it cost like $8 to $12 to Uber back with all the groceries. I guess that's just the cost of convenience there. Then the next thing we did was we had breakfast breakfast downstairs in the hotel. We're staying at the Homewood Suites in the downtown area. We had the continental breakfast. What did you all think about the continental breakfast?
It was a 5 out of 10. It was all right.
Okay.
If you're coming here, do not get the eggs unless they've just come out the what's it called, the current kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And
You should ever get that.
yeah, you shouldn't.
So
I'm just saying that, but
They're buffet eggs. You shouldn't be eating eggs from a buffet.
What?
Yeah, you shouldn't be eating buffet eggs.
Well, you can. The boys just Abraham cooks a lot, so he's speaking from his perspective, and Theodore is the one who eats most of his food, so I can see why the boys are a little bit more picky about the eggs. But other than that, it was fine to be able to go straight downstairs,
true.
get something to eat, and then go on about your day, right?
yes, sir. I'd say the sausage is really good. Also, they have 2% milk and normal milk.
Whole milk, yes.
Whole milk, so you can get, and there's Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, Cheerios, and then there's
Raisin bran, yes.
Raisin Bran, and I'd say the best thing at the breakfast place is probably the cereal.
Gotcha. Excellent. Good. Anything else y'all want to talk about with the breakfast? It was pretty uneventful.
I feel like the best thing there is a bagel with one of the pieces of sausage and then cream cheese. Because, I mean, it's kind of hard to mess up the sausage or the bagel.
Gotcha.
So I just got pretty much the most basic stuff there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So after continental breakfast, we headed over to our first stop of the day, which was the African American History Museum. It was called DuSabLE Museum. It is in Hyde Park, across the street from the Chicago University, University of Chicago.
Yeah, University of
I
Chicago.
believe, yes. So we caught an Uber there. Uber driver was super nice, and I will say we're from DC. We live in Northern Virginia, which is the DMV DC metro area, right? So we have access to the Smithsonian museums, and we have an African American History Museum in DC. This museum, if you're already accustomed to going to the African American History Museum in DC, this museum is not going to be something that you're going to be interested in partaking in. I didn't find any of the content either new or interesting. I mean, you know what? I can't say that. There was one exhibit that was interesting. It was about the mayor of Chicago.
The Harold
That was
Washington.
a really good one.
It
It's
was
like,
something about Harold
in
Washington.
total, the Herald part is one of the better parts. I'd say it's easily the best part there.
Yes.
It's probably, so there's 3 sections, and if I had to guess, it's probably like 15-ish minutes.
Yeah, about that many.
About like 15 minutes of you hearing his story.
Yes.
So I'd say it's very interesting.
Yes.
And then there was also this like Instagram TikTok
Oh yes, that was another interesting piece. Yes.
of the life of like a 17-year-old African person.
Yes. So the perspective was of a young a teenager in Africa who was living during the time that the slavery was going on, but if they had an Instagram account, so how would they be talking about their life up until the point? Well, really all throughout their slavery, right? Like if they had a social media presence and they were just talking about a day in the life. Here's my mom. Here's my village. What am I going to do today? Here's my sister. And then all of a sudden they were captured and they were able to broadcast that content to the world. What would that look like? I thought that that was a great teaser video, right? Because we couldn't see the exhibit. The exhibit wasn't accessible today. I don't know if they were working on it or if they had a private party there.
Or if it was like a plug for you to just follow their Instagram.
No, there was an exhibit. There was an entire room dedicated to it. I would say this too. Another thing about coming here from DC is that in DC, all of the museums are free. Well, all of the museums I believe that are worthwhile are free. So coming here, you're paying for every museum, which is just weird because now you have a expectation for the museum to perform, and it may not be a fair expectation because we do have so many great museums. But if you're coming from DC, I don't think that the DuSabLe Museum, which is the African American History Museum, is going to give you that much content. I mean, outside of maybe like 90 minutes. I think you have 90 minutes inside of there, which is about how much time we spent in the museum. Abraham, what were your thoughts about the museum?
My thoughts on the museum is if you've never been to an African American History Museum, it's probably all right. But being able to go to my mom called it the African American History Museum in D.C. Multiple times. We've been there like 4 or 5 times.
Right.
We've even brought family there. Being able to go there so many times just kind of waters down on what a good on how good the DuSabLe Museum might have been because we were so accustomed to such a great museum. Like if you go to what's a great restaurant like if you go to a steakhouse and then go to like Outback, you'll think the Outback steak is much worse than it was the last time you went to Outback because you just went to a actual steakhouse.
Gotcha.
So it kind of messes with your palate when you go to such a great museum.
Gotcha. That's understandable. Good point. All right, so the next place that we stopped at was the Museum of Science and Technology. We even have a little, what do we have here for you? No, not that one. Let's add this one to the stream. Yeah, so we went to the Museum of Science and Technology. I think that this museum was amazing.
Immaculate.
And you gotta remember now, we're coming from the Smithsonian museums, so this museum is just. There's a reason why most people say that you should spend a day. Maybe I would say a day isn't enough here. I would say 2 days is enough to make it through the entire museum, to not feel rushed, and also to appreciate the exhibits, read a lot of the content. But this museum was incredible. We're staying here for 13 days, so we will be we'll probably revisit this museum at the end of our vacation because we have some free time towards the end. So we're looking forward to. Well, let's talk about what we did today. So today we visited a couple of the exhibits, the free exhibits, and then we also went into the. What was it? No, we went to the video. We did a video, the movie.
Something about nature in America.
Yeah, nature in America, and that Nature in America video was narrated by Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Free.
And that was a great experience. I think that experience is usually at a lot of the museums.
It's at every single
one. We've done 1 or 2 of those videos in the past. There's still a fine piece of content. So the next thing we did was we went to the submarine. Well, we had lunch there. And I got to say, the lunch is underwhelming, but just keep in mind though, this museum has been closed or limited hours due to the coronavirus. So it makes sense that they are just now kind of coming back full steam ahead. This is their first full summer. This is probably their bread and butter season. And they really weren't, at this time, they weren't on their game as far as food was concerned. There really wasn't too many options. We didn't feel like leaving the grounds to go get something to eat, so we ate inside the museum. And I had chicken tenders.
I had chicken tenders.
Everybody had chicken tenders except for my wife. The missus had a burger, which I don't think that she was too impressed with, but it was still fine. It was still fine. So outside of that, though, the exhibits, though, the museum itself, impressive. There was like a technology exhibit that we first walked into before we hit the movie up. Then there was the submarine exhibit. Picture this, the submarine exhibit wasn't even, we didn't even get to go tour the submarine exhibit because, oh yeah, if you're watching this, just know, all of the exhibits, so there's like usually like 4 or 5, or there were 4 or 5 paid exhibits in the museum at the time that we went, right? And this is summer 2022. All of those exhibits you can purchase tickets in advance. The submarine exhibit, it looks like it's one of the more popular exhibits. You should get your tickets in advance because we were not able to see the submarine tour because it was sold out. Yes, the submarine tour was sold out, and actually that was one of the exhibits I actually wanted to see because that was one of the exhibits a lot of my Facebook friends said that they recommended to us, right? So that's another reason why we're going to be heading back out to the Museum of Science and Technology. But just got to keep in mind, we come from the Smithsonian side of things, free museums in DC, and this place is a little bit of expensive. It's a little expensive, right? So if you're going to go to the museum itself, I think it's like $22 per person, and kids get a small discount, right? So that means that family of 4, if your kids are 13 or over, then they're counted as adults as well. So that means that you're looking at $80 something and some change right there. That's just for the museum entrance. If you want to go to a movie, then that's another. I think it's like $10, $6 to $10 per person. Then if you want to do some type of exhibit, one of the paid exhibits, that's going to be another $10 to $12 per person. There's 4 to 5 exhibits, right? Including that submarine tour. So you could be spending per person. You could be spending anywhere from $50 to like $80 if you were trying to do everything, right? So that makes it to where this museum visit almost becomes like a $400 entertainment package. And that's only if you can make it through the exhibits in one day. I don't think you could do it. It's a huge facility. So
if you came as soon as it opened,
Second open and the second closing.
you could probably
you out.
Yeah, you could probably finish it in a day, maybe.
No, there's too much reading. Not
at all. Not unless you're one of those type of people who just like skims through the topics. You don't read anything.
Yeah.
If you're not reading anything, you're just taking pictures, Instagram stuff. Then yeah, you can make it through the whole museum in a day. You can speed rush it, but speed run it. That's what the kids say, right?
Sir, Dad.
Yes, sir.
What is it called? So, can I say the ice exhibit?
Yes, you can talk about the ice exhibit.
So, there's this exhibit. I forgot what it's called. It's something ice.
It's called Extreme Ice.
Extreme Ice. And what's it called? It has, as soon as you enter, a couple short videos on, what was it about?
A couple short videos about like how the glaciers are being impacted by global warming, right? So essentially it's a climate change exhibit where they actually try to provide with some type of videos and photos of the progress. So continue.
And then I think the coolest thing there, or one of the cool things there, is there's an actual piece of ice where you're not supposed to kick, but you put your hand on it and you use the warmth on your skin
Yes.
to slowly melt through the ice,
Right.
which is a very cool, which is a very awesome interactive thing to have in a museum. So that was probably one of my favorite things at the museum.
I agree. That was nice.
There are also what's it called? At the very end,
All right.
there's this room where it just has an insane amount of echo.
Oh,
It's called the Whisper Room or something.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
And it has, so every time you talk, there's a bunch of echo. And if you put your feet on the gold foot, I don't even know, foot.
You can stand on the pedestal.
Yeah, if you stand on, there's instructions that say one person stand here and point and face this direction. The other person stand here, face this other direction. Son, can you please not put the water on?
No,
Thank you. And then you can speak to the other person with barely any energy, right? So turn on the mic, son.
I just want to say, if you do the whisper room, be prepared, because when you don't have all of your family members be out on one side while you're on the other side, because it gets really creepy. Because I thought my dad was behind me, so I looked around, and the way that it's structured, you can't really see behind you unless you fully turn around. So I thought that was very creepy. I got very scared. It's really cool. Excuse me. It's really cool. But when you first walk into the room, it's a little scary. Or when you first do the echo thing, it's a little scary.
Gotcha. So, the Museum of Science and Industry, definitely, it's on everybody's list already. We recommend it as well. Just know it is going to be a bit of an investment, right? This may be one of the more expensive things or events on your list. I don't think you can get around it because the content, there's so much good content for all age levels too, right? There was even some things for little kids or kids, for young adults, and also for adults as well.
What's it called?
Yeah.
There's a section where it's like, what's it called? What's it?
I don't know, son. You just said, what's it called?
It's like a kiddie section with like riddles
Yes.
in the wording, and it may be like 10, like maybe one paragraph thing, and then it's kind of like a small glass chamber that just has a bunch of
Items and
a bunch of accessories
Yes.
and items, and it's pretty funny. And then once you get to the end, or not the end, like the middle,
Right.
there's these mirrors, and they are very fun.
Yes.
And like you can wiggle around, and it's like a trippy mirror.
Yes.
It's a trippy mirror, and I'd say the most fun thing is to get under, like stand up, bend your knees all the way down to you're squatting.
Right.
Should I show I
No,
can't
no,
even
no.
show an example. So like you're squatting kind of, and then quickly go back up, and it looks hilarious, and it is very fun.
Excellent. Good. Did you have anything else you want to talk about with the museum? All right, hold this.
Sir.
All right, so let's go to our next stop on our list, which was going through Chinatown, right? So Chinatown is what you're seeing right now on the screen. This is actually a shopping center in Chinatown. So there's a lot of shops all throughout the area, but this particular outdoor mall is something that I've never seen before. There's several restaurants here. Also, we're here. This is getting to the end of our day, so it's like 5:30 right now, and a lot of the not a lot. A few of the restaurants were already packed to capacity at this time, which I found quite interesting. I definitely recommend that you go there with empty stomach because there's plenty of food options for you to choose from. What do you think about Chinatown?
Chinatown? Or,
Yes.
So,
Chinatown, yes.
So the market, I'd say, there's at least like 50 shops.
Yes.
Almost all of them seem to serve ramen, maybe? Like a lot of them seem to serve ramen and sushi.
Yes.
And when you're walking through Chinatown, you're gonna see lots of like anime stuff,
Yes.
which I think is pretty cool. And also you're gonna see those cats that have their arm going up. I don't know what those are,
I
but
don't know either.
they're in every shop,
Yes.
every single shop. So you're gonna see lots of cool, like I guess, Chinese looking buildings, and there are a couple of good looking dumpling places that were completely full.
Right.
And one of the ramen places, I forgot what it was, but it looked very good because it was like this red drawing, drawn in chalk
Oh yes.
of somebody eating ramen, and it had like a donut in the ramen.
Yes, I do remember that. What do you think about the Chinatown part of Chicago, Abraham?
I like the Chinatown. It looks exactly how the movies depict it. Like it's not. It looks like it's straight from the movies, and like it has that cool little palace thing when you enter the main part of Chinatown. But there are a whole bunch of rolled ice cream shops.
Rolled ice cream.
Ice cream
yes,
is
we
a
saw
big
those,
thing.
yes.
We saw like 3 of them. Also, there maybe this is just in Chicago, but every time not 5 6 but every like 13 cars it was a BMW or some kind of like or Audi, a new Audi, like some kind of expensive car all through Chinatown. And I realized after taking a whole bunch of pictures, I was like, I can't take a picture of every cool car I see.
Excellent.
Or because there are so many of them. But if you're an anime fan, it's nice to go here because they have so many figures. They have Naruto figures, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, all that kind of stuff. So that was pretty cool.
Excellent.
And yeah. And
Yes.
then we went, yeah.
So we definitely recommend that you go visit Chinatown when you're in Chicago. It'll be a pretty cool experience. Also go to this little outdoor mall area that we're in. I think it photographs well, and also you can definitely feel your appetite. So speaking of which, we actually found a spot. One of my Facebook friends recommended a restaurant in the area for us to go and get some delicious dumplings. And I just got to say, these dumplings were the best. The steamed dumplings were the best I've ever had in my life, right? And I would definitely recommend that you go and check this place out. Now, I will say, this place is not known for its hospitality, okay? So don't expect like amazing waiting service, right? I found my waiter in particular was a little curt, but they're known for their dumplings, right? And they know they do dumplings well, and I don't think that you can find. Well, I don't know. I can't say this, but I think that if you like dumplings, this particular restaurant is going to be right up your alley. I highly recommend it. I'll put the name of the dumpling place in the description. I don't know if I put it in the description.
In the bio?
No, I only put best dumplings. So definitely check that out. What did you think about the dumplings, Abraham?
I thought the dumplings were really tasty, although the dumplings are really tasty. Although if you've never had dumplings before, like traditional like soup dumplings, don't try and take a bite and put it down. You have to eat it in one bite, because if you bite into it, this juice just squirts everywhere. So if you have a sauce, don't rip it open and then dip it in the sauce, because all the juice will mess up the sauce. So dip it in the sauce and then eat it in one bite.
Gotcha.
They're all very tasty.
That's a good recommendation. Also, these dumplings are going to be a little bit smaller than you're probably anticipating, because the objective is to put the entire dumpling in your mouth so that you have a full mouth experience with this dumpling.
And then I wanted to say one more thing about the dumplings, is that the pork and the chicken dumplings, we genuinely couldn't tell which was which.
Oh, right.
We didn't know what we were eating. We just knew that it tasted like meat that tasted good.
You just should
So
get
there's no real difference.
I think you should just get whatever one's cheaper, because they both taste the exact same. I don't know if they're the same price, but just get whatever one's cheaper, because they taste the exact same.
Yeah. Also, I wasn't really a fan of the pan-fried dumplings.
They were all right.
They
They
were
weren't really
all
super
right.
crispy. They
Yeah.
weren't. They weren't really
You
like a
think
good
fried meant
crispiness.
fried meant crispy and
Yeah.
tasted fried, but it tasted like a dumpling that had like barely any crispiness.
Yeah.
And also, it just felt like it was less. less
Oh
dumpling.
yes, I think it did. There was a little shrinkage in the dumpling that were pan fried, but I will say this: in their defense, the pan fried dumplings are a different style, right, versus the steamed dumpling. I think that what this restaurant does very well is they do a great job of packaging a dumpling to where you never the juice is usually in every one of the dumplings. So I think that you got the same or similar experience, and the ingredients were super fresh. It was a very crisp, fresh, light meal, and I would definitely go back there again. Highly recommend this particular dumpling place, which I will link to in the description because I forgot to the in the title.
Also,
Anything else about-
the woodworking is pretty nice. They have like
Oh,
this
yeah.
traditional Chinese wood that they made the tables and chairs out of, and it looks the scenery's pretty. Not the scenery, but the way the building is, it looks pretty nice. Like the ceiling looks really cool, and they also have this recurring loop of like 3 or 4 commercials on 2 different TVs to the left and to the right of you.
Gotcha.
And it's their own like personal commercials for themselves.
Yes.
There's
Well,
one of
they-
them on how to make dumplings,
How to make
one of them
dumplings.
on their tea that they sell, and another one of them on the how traditionally Chinese their dumplings are.
Excellent, excellent. All right,
At the
go ahead.
at the very end, when we were kind of like about to leave, we got to go up close and see them make the dumplings.
Yes.
And you could smell like the dough through the glass window.
Yes.
Also, I use chopsticks, and
Congratulations.
thank you. I'd say they're pretty easy to use chopsticks.
Yes.
I didn't have any difficulty putting the chopsticks, using the chopsticks. So I like when they give you chopsticks. I like trying to use the chopsticks first and then using the fork.
Yep.
And I'm glad I did, because imagine you poked a hole in the dumpling.
Yes.
And then you did what I did, where you rolled the dumpling around in your sauce.
Yes.
All the soup would just spill out into the sauce.
Yes.
And that would make it way less enjoyable. Also, there's a sauce where you put a couple scoops of chili, the chili thing.
I can explain it.
Yes.
There's a soup that my mom usually makes for these scallion pancakes and garlic noodles, and it's 1 scoop of chili oil and then equal parts, let's say a quarter part chili oil, and then equal parts soy sauce and the black vinegar that they give you. And then you mix that together in the little bowl thing, and then you dip your dumpling in there, and it gives it like a slight chili flavor with the nice vinegar flavor to
Excellent.
it as well.
Excellent.
It's,
So
can they see the screen?
they can see the screen. They're looking at the same thing you're looking at.
Can they see the mouse?
They can't see the mouse now.
Ah.
Do you see the little bowl right next to the dumpling box? Is it paused for them too?
Yes, it is possible.
Okay, right by the camera, there's that little
Oh,
bowl
wait, nobody's
thing.
watching.
I know,
But somebody may watch later, son. Or
Later.
you may watch later, son. When you're older.
okay. Is there anything more? Oh, the chopsticks are super cool.
Yes.
They have like a little gold on the end, and they have this carved design. And they're at first you think, oh, they're really short. That's kind of weird. Maybe they're dumpling chopsticks. But then there's this little packet on next to it, and you open it, and it's fresh wooden bamboo that you stick on the ends, and it makes them actual chopsticks, and it's
Yes.
pretty cool.
So it almost is like it's like a reusable chopsticks to where you just change the inserts. So you insert the little.
And then just watch the.
And then you wash it. It makes it so they use less bamboo to make the chopsticks, and they just have to clean them with water and soap and all that.
Well, I think they're doing that to give you a more upgraded experience with chopsticks, right? Because essentially they're using, it's almost like fine china or fine flatware, where you have a very a more expensive insert or more expensive handles, and then you just replace the sticks at the tips, right?
Usually when I see like expensive like maybe like a ramen restaurant or some kind of restaurant where you're supposed to use chopsticks, usually the entire chopstick is like a fine china thing where like the entire thing is engraved. I've never or like the whole thing's made out of metal. Like some people collect chopsticks and they have different types of wood and stuff that they use for it. And I've never seen that kind of thing where they like you said, what they implant something different in it.
Insert, yeah, that was something that was new as well. So, fellas,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
how would you rate today's experience? This was day 2 of our trip to Chicago. So we had breakfast at the hotel. We went to DuSabLE Museum, which is the African American History Museum. And then we went to the Museum of Science and Technology, Science and Industry.
Industry, that's what it was. Yeah.
Then we went to Chinatown and finished the day up with some dumplings, right?
Oh, and we also got some Stone Cold ice cream.
Well,
So
again,
nice.
that's something that you can get anywhere, so we don't really want to talk about that.
Although before you go to Ghirardelli,
Get your hand off the mic? Yeah, there you go. Put it there.
before you go to Ghirardelli, you're like, oh, there's a Ghirardelli shop. Oh, maybe I can get some ice cream there. The price will be equivalent to you getting dinner. It would have actually costed more for all of us to get what we wanted at Ghirardelli than what we spent on dinner.
On dumplings, though.
On the dumplings.
were,
Dumplings.
Yeah, so I think that a regular dinner would have probably been slightly more expensive than Ghirardelli because, and I will say, and what Abraham was trying to tell you is that at Ghirardelli, the ice cream treats were between I think $12 and $17, right,
yeah.
per person. So, or per treat. So that's why we went to Cold Stone Creamery because the ice cream was only $7 at max. So you go from 7 to essentially a 5 to $10 savings. So that's the point. And it also is just ice cream.
It's just ice cream.
It's just ice cream. Yes.
Yeah.
Can I wide screen that to see if there's anybody watching on Facebook?
No, they would show us anybody's watching anywhere. All right. So Theodore, what do you feel about today? How do you feel about today?
Rating it on a scale of 1 to 10?
No, just how do you feel about like?
I feel like it was a good day at the beginning, a little bit slow, kind of. A little bit slow. But then as the day went on, after the African American Museum, and as soon as we got to the Sci-Fi Museum or Science Museum,
Yes.
I feel like the day picked up. And then the only time I'd say it slowed down was only maybe when we were eating, but still that wasn't even slow. So
Gotcha.
it was a good day. I think we had very nice food, except for lunch was like all right.
Right.
So we had a all right food experience, and
Lunch. Yeah. Chicken tenders.
Oh,
and-
yeah, no.
and then we had a all right breakfast. So, but I feel like all around we had a good day. We had a great day.
Gotcha. Excellent. Good. Well, we're looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow we have another full day. That's going to be day 3. We're going to be going to the Shed Aquarium and the Adler Planetarium. We'll also most likely go to Portillo's
Or I think it's
Portillo's
for hot dogs, Chicago style hot dogs, and the cake shake. So we're looking forward to doing that. Also, let us know what you think about this multimedia experience we've been giving you with some of the video clips versus you just looking at us the entire time, since I essentially record videos all throughout our sessions.
Can I put it on a slideshow?
No. Let's leave it at that. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. If you like these recaps, let us know in the comment section, because then we'll keep them coming. But if you don't like them, we'll still keep doing them because this is a journal entry for us, right? And so Abraham and Theodore will be able to look at this video in the future, and also my grandchildren will be able to look at this video in the future. So this will be cool. Cool experience, right?
They'll be able to see how bad the quality of cameras used to be.
like, ew, look how dusty that
When before you end
corn on a
shrimp,
potato.
like slowly end the shrimp, so I can do something. Slowly move the not the end broadcast.
Okay.
Slower.
Son, I could just. All right.
Wait, no. First piece.
Okay.
Peace.
Peace. Wait, y'all didn't see my face last time. Peace.
Peace.
Future me.
Peace.
Okay,
Peace,
excellent.
future me. Hope you're in a restaurant by now.